Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center overlooking the Toms River, it's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin, 710, Monday, October 31st. Happy Halloween, 47 degrees, getting up to 55 today. WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app and WOBMAM.com, 732-505-1160. We are joined on the line by Leo Vasquez. He is with the National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. Good morning, Leo.
Hi, good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Oh, if I was any better, Leo, there'd be two of me. How are you this morning? You good?
Yeah. No, it's a nice crisp day. Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's good. Well, okay, go ahead. Why don't you continue with the weather report? It's a crisp day. I mean, highs in the low 50s, low to mid 50s. Anyway, Leo, why don't you talk to us about creative placemaking? Because I know if I were a betting man, I would say that 98.6% of our listening audience has no idea what that is. So why don't you explain it to us?
Oh, sure. And you know what? A lot of people don't, because it's a term that just was created about 6 years ago. It's really about making places better through arts and culture. So it's really about doing things like murals, events, building performing arts centers, putting together art galleries, art events, but all in the purpose of making places better for as many people as possible, improving quality of life, improving economic opportunity, creating a much nicer climate for people to express themselves, encouraging creativity, which is something important not just for the arts, but for innovation, for science, for everything that moves our society forward.
So, you know, I think that it seems like that's something that's easy to say to me, right? It's easy to say that the arts drives X, right? In this case, you know, quality of life, economic development, et cetera, et cetera. Can you help me kind of connect the dots a little bit? Like, you know,
Sure.
is there like an order of operations? So what happens? So we take a downtown area and we put up a couple murals and we get some sculptures going, and you know, and now there's an arts incubator down there. What does that mean? What happens next?
Sure. So, and I'm glad you asked the question. It's not just about the arts. It's about people. It's how you connect people and arts together and the issue. So, you know, let's take a mural, because a lot of people like to do murals. Now, you know, a mural could be a really great experience where people come together, talk about what their aspirations are, what they want for their community, what they want for their families, and you can express that on a public wall so that people really see themselves in the community. So when they look outside, they know, wow, this place really reflects me. Or it could just be slapping paint on a wall. And so it's really, the difference is it's not about the art, it's about the people. And our work is about bringing people together. So one of the things that we do, for example, is we have a program called community coaching, where we bring people from a community, bring together a team of people that includes artists, public officials, business people, and other people from the community, you know, people in the social service side of things. And we work together for 6 to 9 months on some strategies for how can the arts improve quality of life in this community. And by the end of it, what we have not only are projects that help, you know, really interesting art projects, but also we have a team of people who are now working towards, you know, really implementing the strategies that they create.
Very cool, very cool. So do we have, you know, locally, what can you give us maybe an example of a community or an area that you feel like through the use of kind of creative placemaking and through that kind of work have really made an impact and kind of flipped the script on what was happening in that town?
Oh, sure. Well, I think probably closest to you. I mean, I think there's a lot of towns that are doing a lot of different things and having impacts in some subtle ways, larger ways. Asbury Park is an example of how Cookman Avenue has been reshaped and really focused on enhancing the area around the boardwalk and Cookman Avenue through music. That's the primary art form. But in Perth Amboy, for example, they went through community coaching and they learned that murals were illegal in Perth Amboy because whoever wrote the graffiti ordinance way back when decided that anything that wasn't advertising was graffiti. And so the team helped to change the law there. So now murals are legal. And now there's been just a number of these murals that have come out. Now, the murals by themselves are interesting and they're nice to look at, but what they do is they help people feel more connected to their community, and they really send a message that, hey, this is a place where if you are creative, if you want to express yourself, you can feel comfortable in Perth Amboy. Down in South Jersey, an example, Glassboro, which is about 20 minutes outside of Philadelphia, they're using art to help tell a story about their town. It's a town that's a college town, a farm town. It's got all these different elements. So they're telling a story about 6 iconic figures that represent different parts of the town, and they're doing it in different ways. They're just starting this past month with a whole yarn bombing program, which is about essentially doing art through knitting. If you can imagine a bench or a tree with a sweater on it, that's yarn bombing. So. So the impacts can be big, can be a lot of these impacts are subtle because what we're doing is we're affecting how people feel about the place. And when you do that, you affect what they do in a place. If you feel better about your community, if you feel that you're more connected to the community, you're going to do more to support it.
Right. Right.
Now, in the bigger cases like, let's say, Asbury Park or Red Bank, where you're doing these, or let's say Hamilton down in South Jersey, you can build the Performing Arts Center, you can develop the Arts District, but those are only the pieces on the ground. And while those are important, it's really the relationships between people.
Sure.
That really makes a difference.
Sure. And we're gonna actually mark our place right there because we're up against the break. See what I did there, Leo? I did like a little mark place.
I like that.
I was trying to anyway. When we come back, we're gonna talk more about that. I'd like to kind of talk about what comes first, the chicken or the egg, because Asbury Park's a perfect example. Asbury Park. Some would say that the restaurant industry drove the arts movement. Others would say it was the other way around. So I'd like to talk about that and kind of, again, chicken or the egg, as well as other things. We're talking to Leo Vasquez, National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Back after this.
Everything you need to know about the Jersey Shore. This is Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310.
Hey, welcome back. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, 723. We're talking to Leo Vasquez, National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. So we were talking about Asbury Park. Leo, there's the conventional wisdom, or I think if you hear from most people, they would tell you that they believe that Asbury Park kind of went through a resurgence as a result of a couple of restaurants deciding that they were going to set up shop there. For example, Moonstruck, and I think there were a couple others. What say you on that?
Well, you know what? It's easy to think that way because that's what people see when they go to a place like Asbury Park or other places. But it always starts with people. It's people before things,
Right.
and it's not. And the people who really started are people who are confident and committed, and that have the courage to go into and invest in a place and wait, because what you see in Asbury Park now, we're talking about 20 years of change.
Right.
People can go down there now, and so often what happens with a lot of times is you have people in towns who say, things could be different, and I believe that things could be different, and they often feel like they're the only ones, or maybe it's just a couple of friends of theirs. They talk at the diner. And they don't exactly know who else to go to who might be interested in this. So it's about bringing those people together. So, what you had in Asbury Park and Ocean Grove is you had people from the city, from New York, from other places, who were in the arts field, or who were in creative professions. And they said, some of them said, oh, things could be different here. We should invest. We should put money into this. So, yeah, you did have, Moonstruck, but you had places like Robert Legere Homes and Home Design and other places. But, nobody's going to invest unless they feel confident that things are going to change. And so a lot of this work begins with really tapping in and inspiring people's creativity, and you don't have to be in the arts to do this work.
And that's where sorry to interrupt you. Is that where your community coaching comes in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's creativity everywhere. Anytime you solve a problem in a new way, you're being creative. It doesn't matter whether you're in the arts with the big A. You can appreciate that, and you can work in it. And so community coaching and creative placemaking overall is about inspiring people to use their creativity to enhance places through the arts. They don't have to create the art, but they can see futures for their communities that don't exist. I mean, every one thing that I like to say is that every plan, because I'm an urban planner. I'm not an I don't come from the arts field or traditional arts field. Every plan is a work of fiction that strives to become a true story.
Very nice. I have to cut you off at that point because we are up against the break. When we come back, I want you to tell me why it seems like you do work in New Jersey and Louisiana. I want to see what I got to figure out what the correlation there is. We're also going to give you your magic wand so you can make an impact on the world. And, of course, tell people, folks, where they can learn more about artsbuildcommunities.com and all the work you're doing in creative placemaking. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Listen up to the Hometown View in the news. Back after this.
Coming up next, the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from Town Square Towers, at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Hey, welcome back. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. It's time for me to talk about stuff again. It's also 7:36, Monday, October 31st. 47 degrees, getting up to 55 today. WOBM AM 1160 at 1310. News Talk Radio, streaming live on the Radio Pup app at WOBMAM.com. 732-505-1160. So we are with Leo Vasquez, National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. Leo, what's the Louisiana-New Jersey correlation here? I mean, apparently you've worked with 14 different communities in New Jersey and Louisiana.
Yeah. So we're based in Union, up near Newark, and so most of our work is in Jersey. And Jersey is just a great model and a great laboratory around for the nation for creative placemaking because we have it tough. We've got New York on one side, Philadelphia on another. So we really have to be creative. We really have to work harder to get people's attention and to make things happen through the arts. And there have been places that have been really successful, like what we've talked about, Asbury Park, Millville, Red Bank, other places. Louisiana, actually, we were invited by the State Office of Cultural Development to do community coaching there. And, people who might know Louisiana think, well, they got a ton of arts there. Why would they want you to come there? And the reason is that, creative placemaking isn't just about doing arts. It's really about connecting it to as many people as possible. So, you can have a great arts district, and then the next block or the block or two away, not much has changed. And Asbury Park is an example where they've done some great work along Cookman Avenue and the boardwalk. They still have a lot of work to do, on Main Street and going across the west side of the city. So, the work that we did in Louisiana, like in New Jersey, is about really the question is how do we make arts, and when I say arts, I'm talking also about history and heritage and culture, really all kinds of creativity. How do we make it work better for as many people as possible in the community?
Cool.
You can see I'm very passionate about it.
Listen, you are insanely passionate about. I know you're also doing. I only have a couple minutes, but I know you're also working with Monmouth County with the MoCo, Monmouth County Arts Council. How is that work going?
Oh yeah, that's great. That's something that really came together again through. I know I sound like a pitchman here, but came together through community coaching. There were all these arts organizations and towns that they knew they started to come together, or they wanted to come together around the arts. Actually, to tell you the truth, it was a little bit of a challenge because all these towns and arts organizations have been working independently for so long and gotten into the habit of just kind of, being on their own that it was a challenge for the Monmouth County Arts Council to come in and say, hey, we all should be working together and helping one another, and that we can get people to think about the shore in a different way. I think it's starting to work. I think now we had great weather down the shore yesterday, but I think what we're seeing in places not just Asbury Park, but Long Beach and Manasquan and other places, that people are coming down for the arts. People are seeing the shore, all parts of the shore. I was in Spring Lake yesterday, and there was I was in a little shop that focuses on Jersey Shore artists. They started off as a pop-up shop during the holidays last year, and it did so well that it's now a permanent shop. And Spring Lake is not. It's a great place, but it's not a place that people say, oh, it's an artist colony or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah. So I think
so. It's spreading like wildfire in a good way. Yeah. Good wildfire. By the way, I think you were referencing Long Branch, but you may have Long Beach on your
Long Branch
on your mind because you're like, oh gosh, I don't know. It's getting to be the winter now.
Well, you know what? I worked in Long Beach Island too.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Leo, it's that time where we give you the magic wand, the pixie dust, the fairy dust, the ability just to wiggle your nose and make an impact on the world. Leo Vasquez, National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. What are you doing to change the world?
Well, I'll tell you what, giving people creativity, inspiring them to think in new ways about their places, that what they see doesn't have to be what's there all the time, and giving them the tools to make the change that they want to see.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing that doesn't require a magic wand is if the arts, history, and tourism sectors were fully funded with the motel hotel tax, then that could have a really big impact on creative placemaking.
See, and that was supposed to be like that, wasn't it? But it never ended up happening, right?
Well, it's you guys just advocate.
Yes.
Work with places
Yes.
like Art Pride New Jersey is a great organization, and
Right.
South Jersey Cultural Alliance.
Absolutely.
To-
But this is why we have to be so. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we're up against it. This is why we also have to be so cognizant of when we're allocating money, for example, Transportation Trust Fund money and our 23-cent gas tax. That's why you have to be really know the facts when you're looking at that constitutional amendment, question 2 on November's ballot. Leo Vasquez, National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. Where could folks go to learn more? Is there a website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tinder? What do you got?
Sure. Well, our website is artsbuildcommunities.com. Our Facebook is National Consortium for Creative Placemaking, and our Twitter is NC4CP. But if they just Google National Consortium for Creative Placemaking, they can find us in a number of ways.
Very good.
And just very quickly, we have an event on November 11th, our Creative Placemaking Knowledge Exchange, and then we're working with the South Jersey Cultural Alliance in an event in Toms River. It's called Connecting Community to Culture. Creative Placemaking. That's going to be on December 8th at the Ocean First.
I think I may be at that one actually, because I think I'm actually running a panel there. So hey, Leo Vasquez, National Consortium for Creative Placemaking. Thank you so much for your time today and dropping some knowledge on us about the arts.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. I
All right,
appreciate
cool.
being here.
Wake up with Jeremy Grunin back after this.